This Formula One season is throwing up fireworks. There's much happening off the tracks, yes, that's keeping us all hooked. If Ferrari is trying its best to reset and get up and running in time, then Red Bull doesn't seem to be too far off the mark from having their own set of issues to deal with. This one, like last year, threatening to smoke up their campaign. Seems like Red Bull is receiving severe backlash for being bullies. Now, that's a serious offense and a grave statement to make, but it's not mine. First off, how is Red Bull faring in this season so far? After the first two races in Australia and China, Red Bull are trailing both drivers in the drivers' standings as well as the constructors' points table. In the drivers' list, it is McLaren's Lando Norris, who's leading comfortably with 44 points. Max Verstappen may just be 8 points behind Norris, but breathing down his neck are George Russell and Oscar Piastri, 1 and 2 points behind him respectively. So clearly, a minor slip up any time from here from Verstappen may see him lose that second spot too. But the major concern lies in the constructors' standings. It is once again McLaren shining here through with 78 points right at the top. Mercedes second at 57. Red Bull much lower at 36, 42 points behind the number one position. Williams and Ferrari round off the top five at fourth and number fifth. And the reason is this: while Verstappen still managed to finish around the top there, a number 2 and number 4 finish in Australia and China, his new teammate for the season, Liam Lawson, failed to grab a single point. And in his defense, it is still early days and an early start for the 23-year-old. The New Zealander, up until last season, was driving for RB, Red Bull's second team in Formula One, their sibling team. And upgrading from RB to Red Bull ought to bring out some of the nerves, the pressure of what could have been his first full season for Red Bull. Probably it got to him. But Red Bull, on the other hand, doesn't think of it this way. They said 2 races, that's enough for a driver to prove if he truly belongs at the top or not. So for the upcoming Japanese Grand Prix, they have replaced Lawson with another RB driver, Yuki Tsunoda. Now, while it's a massive breakthrough for Tsunoda, it is unfair for the man he's stepping in for, Lawson, a huge blow to his confidence as a driver. A demotion at the start of season isn't something that a driver can really deal with, and a young one at that, which is the reason why Red Bull's decision hasn't gone down too well with fans and critics. But it goes beyond this. It feels like it isn't just the critics and fans who are unhappy with Red Bull and the way they've handled Lawson. The drivers have joined in too. Most importantly, Red Bull's very own Max Verstappen, the Dutch driver, liked a post criticizing Red Bull's decision to drop Lawson in Japan. The interesting thing here is the post called the Lawson issue a bullying incident. Now, this is huge, not the fact that Verstappen has reacted. He's known to speak his mind no matter the subject, so that's a given here. But this statement by him reinforces 2 things. One, Verstappen is unhappy with the way his own team have dealt with a minor setback and his teammate. 2, the fact that he agrees that his own team is a big bully. Let's go back to last year. Red Bull were under immense scrutiny owing to the scandal involving team principal Christian Horner. Horner was accused of inappropriate behavior by one of their female employees. Red Bull tried to hush it all up, brush it aside, and by dismissing the grievances against Horner with an internal investigation. But once the email exchange between Horner and the female employee surfaced, it sparked a massive controversy. Teams, drivers, all demanded an explanation from FIA and Red Bull themselves. That dragged on for months But somehow the matter was suppressed, no action taken. Max Verstappen and his father weren't happy with the whole Honor episode. They made no bones about it. They even claimed Red Bull would burst if Honor continued to hold this power. The scandal threatened to rip the team apart. Tensions were such that it gave rise to rumors of Verstappen even leaving Red Bull. But again, the powers that be came into play and Verstappen stayed. No further clarification. And of course, they managed to hold on the season. Clearly, Verstappen, in an unsaid statement, is highlighting the fact that there is a bullying culture in this team. It is either Red Bull and Honor's way or the high road. Last year, they replaced Sergio Perez with Lawson, and now they are doing it again after just 2 races. Nothing new from Red Bull, though. They have a history of doing it across teams. Verstappen, in his 9-year spell at Red Bull, has had 7 different drivers racing alongside him. It started with Carlos Sainz in 2015 at Toro Rosso, Red Bull's second team. And when Verstappen was promoted to the first team, his first teammate was Daniel Ricciardo, who was there for 58 races. Then came the short spell of Pierre Gasly in 2019, followed by Alex Albon till 2020. The longest at Red Bull was Sergio Perez, who was there for 3 seasons. The latest to face the brunt was, of course, Liam Lawson, who was just there for 2 races, and now Yuki Tsunoda has come up for the next race onwards. The same has been the case with Tsunoda as well. Verstappen will be his 7th teammate since he joined RB in 2021, clearly indicating that the level of patience at Red Bull as a group wears thin. They demand results, but showing faith in their drivers? Maybe only a championship title will earn that right. Now with this pairing, Verstappen has to start all over again. Unlike many other sporting disciplines, Formula One is a lot about teamwork, how drivers combine to get the best out of each other and ultimately their team. And from what we know of Tsunoda, he is a very competitive racer.
I'm ready to fight against that monster, but at the same time, well done to him.
That was Tsunoda last year, ready to make Verstappen fight for every single point. Back then, Tsunoda was still driving for RB. Now he has the super-fast Red Bull car for company and, of course, a teammate in Verstappen. And both Tsunoda and Verstappen are on thin ice here. Every race will be scrutinized much more, and the slightest friction from here on could prove to be tricky.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
No, I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.